You did a nice job on it. You did a blue ribbon on it. Can you remember all these things? Blue ribbon. Well, hang that. This will be saying recent ceremony now, but they'll be putting it on the wall or sending it on probably another one. Do you have another one too? You did a nice job on it. You did a blue ribbon on it. Can you remember all these things? Blue ribbon. Well, hang that. This will be saying recent ceremony now, but they'll be putting it on the wall or sending it on probably another one. Do you have another one too?
I gotta see. There's the color guard. And the whole ceremony. I know. I'll go back to dance in a half an hour. There we go. That's stay right there. No, because they can stand right on here. You want to go in front of her, Michael? No, sir. Stand right in front of her. Who's this here?
You did it.
What?
Kick the leg. Yes, you just did.
Lo, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Josh.
I want to say special thank you to the color guard who was here with us this afternoon, and to Mr. Richard Downey, who sang the Star Spangled Banner. Next, we'll welcome everyone to the 1992 Itasca County Fair, which is our centennial fair, and we're sure glad you're all here. We have a couple people that we've asked to say a couple words regarding the fair, and we'll start out with Matt Huyu, the chairman of the Itasca County Board. Matt?
Thank you and welcome to the fair. We're here today to celebrate a birthday. This birthday celebrates a century of county fairs. Itasca County Fair has been a memorable part of my life. When we were kids, we didn't get here every year, but when we did, we talked about it for months. But later, we got into the 4-H, and I have some fond memories of bringing some of my poor efforts with dairy calves and dairy cattle. But those were good times. There was a camaraderie of the 4-H groups, and we also had farmers would be coming into the fair and look at these cattle, and they would give us pointers, even more pointers than the judges could. So it was always a community event. We really owe a great thanks to the folks that contribute so much time on the County Fair Board. Technically, they call it the Itasca Agricultural Society, but we all call it the Fair Board. These people have put a lot of time and effort into this, and they're challenged with every event. They're challenged with all the statutes and rules that come down. Most of you probably know, but I want everyone to know that the County Fair Board is a very independent organization. The grounds are owned by the county, but the Fair Board is responsible for everything that happens here. The county contributes a nominal amount of support, but it doesn't come near to what the improvements are every year. All the activities or the operations of the enterprise are under the Fair Board. All the revenues that they make goes back into the operation so we can have bigger and better fairs. I want to congratulate the Fair Board today and the Fair Boards of the past for their vision and dedication to this effort. I want to congratulate them for a century of Itasca County Fairs. I want to encourage the Fair Boards now and in the future to hang in there, keep up the good work for another 100 years. I ask you to join the County Board in a big thank you to the Fair Board and all the contributors, big and small, who make it possible to enjoy this beautiful fair on this beautiful fairground and on such a beautiful day. We even ordered that. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next to speak is a representative from the Hildebrand Midway Fun Show, Jim Bass.
We're really excited to be here this year. This is your centennial year, and a lot of you folks may or may not know that my younger brother, is the new owner of Hildebrand Amusements Midway Fun. He's done his homework pretty well and happened to find a 100-year-old Ferris wheel, and it's been completely refurbished for this event. We're really proud to have that, and I'm proud of my brother. He's put a really new sparkle to the traditionally beautiful Hildebrand's Midway, and we're very, very happy that you've asked us to be in your community this week to share in this festival and celebration. And we hope you'll come out to our amusement area and have a good time with us. Thank you.
Okay, again, thank you, Jim, and thank you all of you for being here. We have free Pepsi and some cake for everyone to enjoy for our birthday celebration here at the opening ceremony of the Itasca County Fair. Thank you.
Go get her now. Brian, give me some.
Oh, I would ride.
God, you could have got a little bit bigger cups. I have to go back. I know it.
I don't want kids. One ride.
Sure.
Watch your head go.
Hi. You're welcome. Start there. Keep it going. Camera's running. There you go, sir. There you go. You're welcome.
We have to make another.
Allow some space in between you. Nice job. Well, this is that birthday card thing, or card making. I guess I would look at maybe tree farm. A lot of space here where they have to fill it up. If you ever make it again, you might want to do that. Because these people might get married too. This is just by sample. This is together. The card, I think, is separate. Do we have anything about choice?
I don't know. We have, it's not in the project.
This is a heritage project. And that was the other one.
Do you know what number it was, honey?
suppose, or do you want to shine that one down here, put this one up there? I think it would take a time on here.
Here, I'll let you do that.
Just turn it over. Just look like stamps. Yeah, pick up some of I think we need, what do we need? Three more. Just a sign on it. Thank
But I didn't.
Right, Grandma, now, don't get lost.
This guy taking a picture again. We might get our picture taken.
No.
He's busy.
Okay, tell you what. Okay, okay, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people ahead of you. Great. You want a piece of paper too? Write it down. This tells you all about your how's your blood pressure, girl?
Maybe I'm in the wrong line. Is this the kids or what? Anybody get your blood pressure? I feel like I'm in the wrong group.
Over there by Ann on that
How you
other
doing
way.
there, dear? Getting your
Well, just hold on to it.
Okay, I'm Tom Beauchamp for ICTV here with Ron Oleheiser, the Secretary-Treasurer of the Fair Board. Ron, let me ask the golden question. What's new at the fair for 92?
Well, we have we're celebrating our centennial year, which is 100 years at the Itasca County Fair, and we've got a lot of new entertainment this year, and we pride ourselves on the entertainment that we've got this year, and filled the grandstand every night with races, demo derby, monster truck show, professional wrestling. At the grandstand, we've got free entertainment, Jerry Fraser, the Blenders concert on Thursday, and we've got a ventriloquist that's coming in. So our entertainment lineup, either free or paid for entertainment, is next to nothing and next to the best here at this year's fair.
Okay, how about the exhibitors? How many exhibitors are turning out this year?
Well, from early reports today, on Wednesday is our entry day for our fine arts, 4-H, agricultural type exhibits. The exhibit numbers look like they're up, and the livestock exhibits all will be coming in tomorrow on Thursday, and we don't know, but early reports are that we'll have the most livestock that we've had in the past.
Ron, I think there's a loose cow somewhere.
And that sounds great, Ron. How about the livestock judging? When does that begin?
The livestock judging will start on there'll be some poultry judging on Thursday night, but the cattle, horses will begin on Friday and Saturday. Will be Friday and Saturday. The 4-H horse show is Thursday this year, and but any of the beef and dairy cattle judging will be on Friday and Saturday.
And are you the one that gets to judge the pie contest?
No, we've got a select group coming in for the pie contest, which is going to be on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. We have several members of the State Fair board coming up to help judge that. And also we've got a couple members of other fairs around the state coming in to help judge that contest.
Okay. When you have livestock competitors, Ron, about how many do you have come in?
The report that I've heard is we've got, I think, like 45 dairy cattle coming in this year, which is a increase for us for the dairy. And I would suspect that we'll probably have, I would guess, between right around 50 head or a little more on the beef side of that.
I see.
So, you know, we've got some swine coming in this year, which is the first year that we've been able to have them at the fair. So that'll be something different for us this year.
Do you have new facilities for swine?
No, we weren't able to erect a new building for that, but we've made accommodations for them in one of our other buildings for this year's fair. And if the project grows, we'll have to look at another facility. We do have a brand new facility in our poultry rabbit building that we just built last fall, and would encourage everyone to stop out and see that new facility. It's a real nice building, and new cages and everything for the poultry and the rabbits.
What type of poultry do you have come in, Ron?
Oh, any and every kind. Chickens. There's some geese. Pigeons. I don't know. There's any number of different kinds, breeds and kinds involved with the chickens and the rabbits also.
Well, it looks like somebody's smiling at you because the sun's shining real bright and it's a real warm day out here,
Yeah,
right?
It sure is. It's a beautiful Wednesday, and our early reports for our Wednesday crowd were way up over what we've been before. We do have a beautiful day. We have a lot of things going on. The Midway is new and improved this year. It's the same Midway, but they've made a lot of improvements. We've got several new rides this year that have been brought in through the efforts of some other Midway, and also from a couple of the State Fair rides are here, and we'll be here through this week, and then they'll go to the State Fair next week. So we appreciate the efforts of the State Fair to bring some rides up here also. One other thing, we do have our children's barnyard will be open starting on Thursday, and that gives the children an opportunity to get up close to some animals that they may not. And I don't know everything that they've got coming in there. They usually have a donkey and some maybe a cow and some little chickens that maybe are just hatching, and couple different things like that, and I would encourage everyone to come by and take a look at the children's barn, because I know the club, it's a 4-H club, the Trout Lake 4-H club is doing that this year, and I think we'll see a very good exhibit there for this year. So.
Well, how about the food? Who's doing the cooking for us?
Oh, we've got lots of people doing cooking, and pretty much the same ones. The JCs have their corn, and the St. Joe's are turning the burgers over, and we've got several other ones that have been out here year after year, and they're still providing the same good food that we've had every year.
Well, it looks like everybody's having a great time out here, Ron, and we appreciate your talk to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I welcome you all to the fair. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hope it.
And press them up against the door as hard as you could for about 30-45 seconds. And then stepped in front of the door, relaxed your arms, and let your arms float up all by themselves. How many people have ever tried that? Doesn't that feel weird? It feels magical, but there is nothing magical about it at all. It has to do with muscle contraction. It has to do with what you're thinking at the time. But I have something right now that looks really cool. And I need 2 people to help me out. Now let's see who has been doing some nice work. You've been doing some nice work. Come on up and step right over here for me. Good job. And let's see. Could you help me out? This guy over here? Could you come on up? Good job. I need you to step right there. Face everybody, and I take it your name is Steve. Nice to meet you, Steve. Now, Steve, I need you to relax, because you're going to need all your strength to do this magic. So face everybody, Steve, and relax. Good. Don't be nervous, Steve. Don't be nervous. What's your name?
Corey.
Hi, Corey. Nice to meet you. Corey, I need you to fold your arms like this. Okay? Now, Corey, when I say squeeze, I need you to squeeze your arms like this. Okay? When I say relax, then relax your arms just like they are now. I know this is going to appear really strange, but it all makes sense in a moment. Okay? Corey, step right up here. Good job. Face everybody. Ready? Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Corey, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Corey, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Corey, one more time. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. I know that appears really strange, Corey. Now, Corey, I want you to put your feet together. And in just a moment, I'm going to pick you up and put you right back here. Don't be nervous, okay? But I want you to keep your arms crossed, stiffen out your legs, and point out your toes when I pick you up, okay? Steve, don't be nervous. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, lean back, point out your toes, stiff legs. Good job. Steve, don't be nervous. Steve, come on over. I need you to hold up Corey's head with your right hand. With your left hand, bring it around like this. Corey, hold on tight. Don't let go. Now, Steve, bring your body around here like this. That's good. All right, good. Now, Corey, take a look right through there. Right through there. I need you, Corey, to fix a focal point. That is, pick something around this area where you can point your toes toward that focal point. It could be one of the knot holes in the wood. It could be this guy's green cap over here. It could be almost anything. But in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to point your toes toward that focal point. Relax your toes for now. And when you point out your toes, pull down on Steve's arm. Steve, you pull up on your arm, and equal weight on both legs. Okay? Here we go, Corey. Ready? Point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Good job. Okay, Corey, bring down your head. All the way. Keep going. Bring down her head, Steve. Bring down her head. Good job. Okay, right there. Now, Corey, close your eyes. Do not open your eyes, Corey. Trust me now. Don't open your eyes. Anytime, Corey, don't open your eyes. In just a moment, I'm going to pull away the chair that's holding up Corey's feet. At that time, Corey, I need you to stiffen out your legs, point out your toes, and pull down on Steve's arm. Steve, you pull up on your arm, equal weight on both legs. Watch this, everybody. It really looks cool. Okay. Now, don't open up your eyes, Corey. Keep your eyes closed. At the count of 8, Corey, at the count of 8, the chair is coming out. At the count of 8, the chair is coming out. Listen to me now, Corey. Listen to me. Point out your toes, Corey. Point out your toes. Now listen to me. At the count of 8, the chair is coming out. Do not open your eyes, Corey. Do not open your eyes. Pull down on Steve's arm. Pull down. Steve, pull up on your arm. Not too hard. Not too hard. Equal weight on both legs. Stiff legs now. Stiff legs. Good. At the count of 8, the chair is coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Corey, I got you. Hold it, Corey. Relax your toes. Relax. Clap your hands for Corey. Clap your hands for them. Wow. Well, I'll tell you, I know that Corey wasn't quite sure what she did, but she did a great job. You can refer to Corey as the girl who is lighter than air, and Steve is the strong man. Good job, Steve. I made some promises during the show. I said that everybody who helps out receives a balloon animal. There's about a dozen of you that get balloons. At the same time, how many of you would like to learn how to do magic? In 5 minutes after we finish our show, we're going to do a magic workshop right here where you can learn how to do magic. So, stick around, because in 5 minutes, we have that magic workshop. Now, one last thing. How many of you would like to pet Harry Houdini? I'd be happy to let you. I'm going to put him on display right here, and I'm going to give you a chance to pet him. I want all the kids to line up single file right here behind Corey. Come on up, Corey. Line up single file, one behind another. No pushing, because you will all get...
If I let go, it's going to fly.
I've been running it some tape or something to hold that down. He's mom.
That's all right. You really want
I want to look at the details. This is the county fair. God, that's gorgeous. I want to get up.
I don't know where it's going to end up. I'll tell you really the truth. I'm not sure what the plans are. There's been some talk about it ending up in the courthouse, and I don't know if that's been decided yet or not. Is there? Oh. Huh? Some other people, some quilters did that.
Oh, good job.
Yep.
That's supposed to be everything in the fair.
I want to try and stay out of there, Dave. Nothing starts to fly, that's right. I'll try to pick some of it. All right.
There's all sorts of people you can ask about that.
Is this supposed to be Mother Goose?
It's sort of a carousel goose type ride-on toy, and it will hold 120 pounds. And the only request I make is dry pants only, please.
Did you have anything?
I have one over at right that is vintage. It's kind of German motif. It has a little boy and girl in a heart shape over the rump, and a cool-looking saddle, one of King Ludwig's castles on the chest, and Edelweiss from the Mountain insignia on each side of the saddle down the front.
Is this basswood you're carving?
It's pine.
Pine.
Yeah, I had somebody ask
Still a
me
soft
which
wood.
kind, and I
Yeah.
don't
White
know.
pine?
Yeah,
Sugar
yeah,
pine,
white pine, Norway. They named a bunch of them. Asked me if it was, this kind, that kind, the other kind. I said, well, apparently you'd probably know better than I would. I just know it's pine.
Get change for 10
No, sorry. I probably don't have 10 right now to make. There is a cashier.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. We'll look in the building back here.
I'll be right back.
While you're waiting.
That's got information on my show over at the radio on the back. It's also got my phone number, custom order and you can possibly lessons. Well, I think that's 30 minutes, so I don't know.
that was a good way. Loosen the pins up.
I showed up anyhow.
You did?
Yeah,
You mean you ain't done with that thing yet?
figured I'd get more done here than at home. Hang around home, I start doing dumb stuff like vacuuming and dishes. All right.
Well, you know the vacuum it up the dirt, that you can always let weights take it up.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to clean something dirty again.
Oh, yeah, sure, that's all right.
Yeah, my shed used to be used for, I think he had. Get a donation here.
Yes. Stop it.
What's still there? How are you doing?
He's holding. Right there. Okay, here's your pulley. Right here. Perfect. Yeah? Now where do we go? Way up.
These are all young girls up there. Girls home there. They're a great bunch. They come every year to help us. These young girls.
It's right over here.
Okay, here, let me help you. All right. Okay?
As long as you know.
Let's sit down here.
The next class up will be the junior showmanship 13 and under, followed by intermediate showmanship 14 through 17, and that will be followed by senior showmanship. In the junior showmanship, we should have these entrants: 101, 124, 148, 149, 164, 184, and 185.
Make a circle around the whole inside. Bring her around. Okay. Here's our judge to place this class. Okay, we have a real nice line group of calves. There's an easy top here. When I looked at this young girl out here leading this calf, I knew I had a winner right off the bat. So she gets a blue ribbon. Do you like that blue ribbon? Pretty good? This will bring her right around here and show the people what a nice old calf is. She's tall. She's a very tall calf. You like the legs of this calf, the way she walks. She's hairy. She's got a lot of ribbons. And we really like this calf. A lot of legs in her. Placing over the next place calf, real close placing in second and third. We got a little more round calf here in second place than the top dairy calf that we have there. But just enough, she's a February calf, a little bigger than the March calf next to her. A little more depth of body in her, and even with her roundness, I think she just has a little more size and scale as we're going into the third place calf. Fourth place calf just can't quite measure up to these bigger calves in that class. It's a nice calf, nevertheless. Okay, first place in that class goes to High Volpe Holsteins. Second to Gerald Floyd. Third goes to High Volpe Holsteins. And fourth goes to White Oak Dairy. Required to visit the ADA, yes, the weight booth at the fair. And what you're going to do here is when you enter the cattle barn there to your left, there's the dairy booth set up there. And what they want you to do is guess how many pounds of milk that Patty, the Holstein cow, has milked in 246 days. So you want to stop in there and guess the weight and look over the educational information they have at their booth. Also, for those around the area here that might come down and watch the show later on, the Itasca American Dairy Association will be handing out free dairy products. And I guess those will be ice cream bars or ice cream sandwiches or something like that. Here's our judge, Harold Cleveland, to place this class. Okay, we have two very quite similar calves here in the top. Both smooth calves, but this, we have to go with the black calf in first place. Definitely in the ribbing area, depth of body, a real nice effort.
Pretty cheese.
Say cheese!
Thank you.
Or hamburger or something like that.
She has a birthday party.
Do some interview also, ask some questions also.
Nice.
What do you think about it?
Well.
How is it? Gotta do our program.
Is an outstanding senior volunteer recognition. All of the people who are seated in the chairs here facing you are outstanding volunteers and senior citizens, and we're very happy to have them in our community. Let me tell you a little bit about how this award came to be. The Outstanding Senior Volunteer is co-sponsored by the Minnesota Board on Aging and the Fair Board. And the committee that helped identify the committee that helped select the outstanding senior involved alumni outstanding seniors, Amelia Canis and Phil Mergler and Harvey Rodenz, all participated on that committee, as well as myself and Janice Engling. Janice is the coordinator for the RSVP, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, works with Itasca Action Council. We are very pleased, as I said, to have all of these outstanding seniors in our community. The two seniors, a male and a female, who have been selected as the outstanding seniors will each receive a $150 honorarium to assist them to the state fair competition for outstanding senior in the state on September 3rd. And that honorarium is supplied by the Itasca County Committee on Aging. So I would like to introduce to you now Lynn Lemming Salisbury, who will be presenting the Outstanding Senior Awards.
Thank you for having me today. It's really exciting to be here. I have to think, when I thought about doing this today, I of course thought about my grandmother. And one of the things my grandmother used to say to me every time we got together was, well, now I'm going to tell you something. This is from my heart now, you guys. This is off. Don't ever remember this, okay? Forget this a minute. She used to call me Lenny Joe, and she used to say, Lenny Joe, have you done something nice for someone today? And I'd have to think real hard what I did nice for someone today. But then we got smart. There were 6 of us in my family, 6 kids, and we got smart. We tried to think ahead of time to do something nice for someone so that when we saw Grandma, we could say, hey, Grandma, guess what I did today? I did this, this, and this nice for someone today. When I look at these folks that are in front of us, and many of you folks there, I realize that our volunteers are really the crux of our community, the people that give from their heart. And that's why I feel real honored to be able to present these awards today. And what I'd like to do first of all is just name off the folks that have been nominated for this award. And first of all, Elvira Seedorf was nominated, and Elvira's sitting right down here. And I have a trusty assistant here. This is my son Adam, and make sure you want to take some flowers down to Elvira. Please, Adam. He's not into kissing and hugging though, so he's 15, so you have to be careful of that. Oh, that's good. I'm so glad somebody is. Next is Ollie Brooks. Ollie and Edgar, her husband, were both nominated for the Outstanding Senior Award. And Edgar isn't with us today, but Ollie's here, and we're glad that she's here. He had to entertain?
Yes,
Okay. He's in Leisure Hills and Hibbing entertaining. Didn't I tell you about the work that they do? Isn't that great? Now, I got to get this right. Is that next person, is that Albert Page right there? Yes, it is. Albert Page. See, I told you. I knew someone would be. And Charles Carlson in chair number 4. Now these are 4 really, really, really special folks, and so we need to put our hands together and tell them that we think that. We need to see whether Florence Mueller is here. Is she here? Because she was nominated as well. Is Florence here? Where? Aha! She was trying to hide from us. We'll find another chair, Florence. Are you coming? Oh, she still wants to hang back. No, up front. There we go, right over here. Come on.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, and Florence needs a hand as well, because we missed her. Thank you, Florence. Now's the exciting part. I was giving Myron kind of a hard time. Myron and I go back a little way from his work with United Way and my work with United Way and our work at the YMCA and Partners with Youth. And so it's a real honor to announce that Myron Nielsen has been chosen as the outstanding senior in this county. And Myron, let me tell you, before you get to clapping about him, let me tell you a little bit about him. I was reading today that he's a Cap Baker Lions Club past president, YMCA. I stopped counting the number of committees that he serves on. His church, the list was just as long. United Way, Minnesota Deer Hunters Association, though. I was excited about that one, Myron. That was good. Well, what we know is that my grandmother would be very proud because these folks have done lots of things nice for their community. Myron, would you stand up and then come up and get an award? This says a certificate of commendation in recognition of your outstanding service to your community and in honor of your selection as the 1992 Outstanding Senior Citizen in your county. This commendation is presented to Myron Nielsen, Itasca County, with appreciation, respect, and I would just like to add, with lots of love.
This is a real honor for me. I always have felt that of all these volunteer things I've done, it's always been kind of exciting for me because the people are always very, very happy when you do these things for them. About the only thing I can say is, in the end is that I always told my wife, serve when you can because pretty soon you're probably going to be too old and you won't be able to. So I've enjoyed this for many, many years. And I've been retired for 11 years already, and I don't have everything done at the house yet. So you see, things really buckle down after a while. Thank you very much for this honor.
Another story story for the Outstanding Senior Award. I was up at the Historical Society today, just checking it out because I have a new office in Central School, and I went up to meet Jody, and she's the new director. And I was looking at the board at all the volunteers, and I'll be darned if I didn't see the Outstanding Senior's name right on that list. And she tells me she's got to work next week too. I want to tell you about Ann Turek. I want to tell you about her work with the Business and Professional Women's Club, with Cooch Itasca RSVP program, the food shelf, her church and her mission work. I was so impressed to hear about not only is she working with missionaries here but abroad, her work at the county fair. And I was interested, what are you exhibiting this year at the county fair?
My aim was 100 exhibits, and I made it for 100 years.
Oh, right. Her aim was 100 exhibits, and she made it for 100 years. I want to read you what I found on the application. Because of her energy, enthusiasm, and involvement in this community and these organizations, we wholeheartedly recommend Ann. Ann, would you come up and receive your plaque, please? Certificate of Commendation in recognition of your outstanding service to your community and in honor of your selection as the 1992 Outstanding Senior Citizen in your county. This commendation is presented to Ann Turek, Itasca County, with appreciation, respect, and I add again, with much love.
Thank you. I'm greatly honored to have been selected as one of your senior outstanding citizens. Thank you.
I'm going to leave with just one more statement, and this comes from my grandmother again. She said to me, "We must not forget, Lynn, to express our appreciation for the kindnesses done to us. Please, please remember, these people that do with love and from their hearts are so nice. Let us be nice and let us be grateful, even when everything isn't always just exactly as we think it ought to be. What a difference it makes to a person when he or she is thanked and feels appreciated." I want to be one of the first to say to these folks and to all of you out there who give from your heart, Itasca County thanks you.
Just the two. Outstanding ones. No, I gotta hurry Thank you.
Well, that's it.
I got them lined up,
What's your son's name? Adam.
A couple of them are county officials, some of them are state officials. Dale Verdon, are you out there? Can you kind of stand up and wave a little bit so people know where you are, who you are? I know you're out there. Ron Oleheiser says you're out there. You're out there. Bob Zolke. They must have gone back to work. Such, dedicated employees. What can I say? Jack Muhar, are you still out there? Bob Lassard?
It's very strange, but
And is Bob Fragnito here representing Lauren Solberg?
Right here.
Great, thank you. Good job. Is that Senator Lassard that I see there? Wave. Let him know you're here. Okay, thank you. Does anybody else show up over here after I read their name? Jack Muhar, Bob Zulke, Dale Verdon. Are you out there? Wave if you are. Okay, thanks. The next presentation will be introduced by Brian Carlson.
Thank you, Marion. A couple of things before we make this presentation. As you can tell over here to my right and your left, we have a gentleman here who's doing some signing for the hearing impaired. This was a project taken on by the Grand Rapids Eagles Club 2469, the first time that we've had this at the fairgrounds, and we hope that it continues. And I think we should give the Lodge a round of applause for supplying us this year with signers for our deaf community. One other thing you might want to take note of this year, out on our midway, we have a Ferris wheel. G.W. Ferris invented the Ferris wheel back in 1892, and in a discussion a couple of years ago with Roger Hildebrand, he was not sure that he could attain one. So through hook and crook and lots of wheeling and dealing, he was able to do that. He did make a comment to me that it was an 1892 Ferris wheel, but I haven't been able to verify that with him yet. I'm going to this afternoon. Okay, the next person I'm going to introduce is Rhonda Nix. Rhonda is a representative of the Grand Rapids Women of Today program, and we want to recognize a person who has been on the fair board for 19 and a half years. She worked in the Blackberry area with the township. She worked with the Farm Bureau. She worked with Food Shelf. She's worked just about every place you can imagine, and we feel that, or at least this group feels that there should be an award presented to this fine lady that we have in our community. Rhonda?
Is Elvira Seedorf able to come up? Just a little bit about what the Grand Rapids Women of Today are. We're a community service leadership training organization, and our chapter is just one small part of a national organization. And last year on a state level in Minnesota alone, we raised close to over $200,000 for different foundations. So we're just a small part of a large organization. And at this time, I would like to recognize Elvira Seedorf, a symbol of women whose efforts have enhanced the Itasca County Fair, presented by the Grand Rapids Women of Today. Thank you.
It's a joy and a pleasure to meet so many nice people when you work at the fair, and you really get to meet a lot of them. Thank you.
And thank you, Elvira, for 19 and a half years with the Fair Board. The next person I would like to introduce belongs to the Loon Country, Country Quilters. And Florence, where are you at? You're over there. Would you mind take a step up here to the microphone so everybody can hear what you would like to say? Yeah, we can just leave the quilt there for right now, and then you can go back and forth. Back in I think it was about 83, 84, a small group of people over in the Coleraine area put together a quilt for the Diamond Jubilee in 1984. One of those people involved in that was a gal by the name of Debbie Asawa. Shortly after that quilt came out, I was so impressed with their work that I approached Debbie when I was working at Peterson's hardware store and asked her if maybe they couldn't throw a quilt together for the centennial. Well, they talked about it, they hemmed it over, hawed it over, started buying equipment and materials, and Florence will take you from there on this journey.
Brian said, I'm Florence Soderberg, one of the members of the committee from the Loon Country Quilters, along with Debbie Asawa and Judy Schumer, who put this, who put this quilt in. It was a challenge and it was fun.
We started by doing some research and then taking photos of the existing buildings and some of the grounds. And then we were very fortunate to have an artist friend who did paintings from the photographs. Maybe you can't see this very well from where you are, but we can place it someplace later so you can see. And then from those photos, or from those paintings, we did black and white copies and enlarged them or reduced them to the size that we wanted. And then we put these together along with the picture, the black and white copy, the directions for doing it, and some fabrics that we thought might work out, and gave them to the members of the club. The past year we speeded things up a little bit. We had weekly meetings at my house, and then we put the quilt on a frame, and people from the club came as they could to help quilt it, and finally to bind it. We'd like you to look at some of the detail. There's some little bluebirds that we put in the last minute because we found a little hole in the quilt, and you would never know that we did that. And we asked our artist friend to paint some other little extra things like the Ferris wheel, and I think the Ferris wheel is a copy of the one that we have here on the fair now, because we took it from we did some research on it to be sure it was authentic. Look over the quilt, look closely so you can see the detail, and and enjoy looking at it. All right. Thank you. That's a lovely work of art. Very pleased with that. The next presentation will be presented by Jim Johnson.
Thank you. This presentation is in honor of a woman who was on the Itasca County Fair Board for 10 years. We were greatly grieved and saddened at her death this last spring. As you know, the fair and the operations are run by a board of directors consisting of one from each commissioner district and two at large. And over the years, we've had several women on this board, and one of those was Nancy Uhala. She was a stabilizing person on the board. Her humor, her wit, and we, as members who work with her, will never forget. The Fair Board members could say much more about Nancy. We have holding much in our hearts about her, but there's one woman that has known her, like in your audience, that would probably say just a few sentences about her, who is a part of the community. Helen, please.
Good afternoon to you all. I want to tell you that Nancy was my friend. She was a friend of many people, but I especially found her a special person, and we were as close as our separate schedules would permit. I went to her children's weddings. She went to my children's wedding. My child's wedding, I should say. I just had one that got married. Years ago, I said to Nancy, you know, there's a vacancy on the fair board. Why don't you try for it? And she did, and she did get on the fair board. I used to tease her if I did her a favor or not by suggesting she get busy on the fair board, but I think she did enjoy it. Nancy was a hard worker. Nancy was very active in our church in Nashwauk. She was very active in community things, and she worked hard for her political party. You could always count on Nancy to get things done if you gave her a job. It is a pleasure to be praising her. She had strong family values, and she leaves behind a very nice family. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. So on this occasion, the Itasca County Fair Board wants to dedicate a plate in recognition, which states in recognition of Nancy Uha for her years of dedicated service to the Itasca County Fair in 1981 and 1992. Now, Nancy and her husband Armis operated a farm north of Nashwauk for many years and raised 6 children. And her husband is now, Mr. Armis is here, and we'd like him to come up with Jan Soltis, please, for this presentation. Jan Soltis is now the present superintendent of women's activities at our county fair and took Nancy's place. Armis and family, I would like, on behalf of the Itasca County Fire Board, present you with this plaque in memory of Nancy. And as I know, that it will be hung in the Women's Activities building where Nancy spent so many hard-working and happy years. And with her, of course, is Jan Solis, who will help with the presentation.
Well, all I can say is thanks a lot.
County Fair's 100th anniversary. And there are a couple of other great institutions in our community that are also celebrating 100 years in existence. And to tell you a little bit more about that is John Parmenter.
I don't know if people really understand what 100 years has to do in a county, but there was an awful lot of skills that were brought in by many different people and immigrants, and a lot of them were your grandparents and your great-grandparents. And in this county, as of this year, there is 2 farmsteads which have existed in this county and have been able to be worked through for a full 100 years. And it was nice to be part of this presentation because in between both of the farms is part of the time where I grew up too. And there's 2 farmsteads which we would like to honor from the Itasca County Fair Board. And they both have to deal with just north of Deer River. The first presentation I would like to make is to Mrs. Dorothy Hedquist of the Carl Hedquist Farm, which has been in existence for a full 100 years, from 1892 when it was first settled by Gust Hedquist, and they also had a logging enterprise. And this farmstead is still intact the way it was built in 1892. And very little of it has changed when Carl Hedquist married Dorothy in 1945. So could they please come up here with their family? And this is Dorothy Hedquist, who is still living on the 100-year-old farmstead. So we present this to her from the Itasca County Fair Board in honor of their 100th anniversary.
Thank you very much.
And the next farmstead, which I'd like to present a plaque to, is the Harvey Olson farmstead, which is on the Chase Lake Road just north of Deer River. Dorothy's farmstead, as long as she's walking back, if you're driving by on Highway 19, 4 miles north of Deer River, and you see this sign that says Pioneer Farmstead out of this old oak tree on the left-hand side of the road, that's the one we're talking about. There's a nice great big sign, and that oak was there, and that's what the sign's been made out of. Okay, Harvey. Now the Harvey Olson farmstead is about 3 miles north of the river on the Chase Lake Road, and it was in 1889. It was settled by John Larson, and then Harvey Olson's dad took over in about 1910. It's been in the family all the way since 1889. So I'd like to present this plaque. And by the way, parts of the blacksmith shop are still there from 1889.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Earlier, when I mentioned the names of a few political figures and officials in our crowd, there was one person that I overlooked, and he kind of deserves some special recognition and special introduction. So Dale Gagner will be introducing this next very special political figure.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the 100th Itasca County Fair. A gentleman came from a very long distance to speak with us today. He is a very distant, he tells me, relative of Abraham Lincoln. He's going to do a special presentation at this time as Lincoln speaks to us today at the 100th County Fair.
Thank you, Dale. Good afternoon, friends. I think it's very appropriate that I have been invited to come and to speak at Senior Day here at the Centennial Fair in rural America in this my first visit to the state of Minnesota. I've not had the delight of being in your state prior to this time. My business as president had taken me elsewhere until the invitation came. But I have always had in my mind and in my purpose as being your president to benefit those on whom we are most dependent in our nation, our farmers, who from the soil produce food and fiber to make this nation the great nation she is. Of course, there's also those who are miners, forestry workers, and manufacturers, but without the farmers, we'd starve. And to you who till the soil, I am grateful. For I myself was raised on a farm, not in the fertile plains of Minnesota, but in the hills of Kentucky, which were hardly more than passable in their development and in their productivity. Indiana was a little better when I lived there for 14 years. But Illinois, the land of my growing up, was a better farming area. When I became the president in 1860, there was a great attempt of our nation to expand westward. Shortly after my inauguration, as you know, the awful war between the states took place. And that occupied a great deal of my time and energy, but I was always conscious of those who tilled the soil. We needed to have more. With the South seceding, we had to depend more upon Iowa, Minnesota, the Dakota Territories to produce land, food for our troops and our civilians. And so to promote the advancement of agriculture, in 1862, I pushed through Congress a thing known as the Agricultural Act, and established a department of our nation, our government, to oversee and to promote and to provide for farmers, through that Department of Agriculture, those things which would benefit, advance the cause of farmers. Also, as a motivation for those in the eastern states, midwestern states, to march out on their own with that great spirit of pioneering, which is so typical of our country, the Homestead Act was passed shortly after that, in which any person willing to settle on a quarter section of land, reside there for 5 years and develop it, could purchase that land at practically no price at all. A gift. Our nation might be established as even greater in its agricultural department. Also, a thing called the Morrill Act came into being about that time, which set apart territory, acres of land, sections of land, for the express use of our colleges and institutions of higher education, farm schools, agricultural colleges. Because as farmers would increase in number, the technology and the understanding of the soils and methods, seeds, and cattle would have to grow with the advancement of farming. And so these colleges were likewise set up to benefit farmers who've never been near to my heart. I've shared that devotion with most of you, I'm sure. And it's interesting that today, on Senior Day, we have met. We're honoring those who have served, and that is altogether fit and proper. We do this. We cannot always look back. Great as is our heritage, good as is our achievements, they are not sufficient to occupy our entire time or energy. The future beckons. That in that future, more should be accomplished, greater needs met, and more things provided for the people of these great United States. As you know, I have been president through a terrible conflict of civil war. In the attempt, now successful, to maintain the integrity and the union of this nation, we've been through a horrible experience. Over 500,000 of our men, choicest young men on both sides, have given their lives in this awful conflict. They died serving their nation, both north and south, serving in what they felt was a just cause. By the grace of God and with thanks to Him, as you know, the North has won the war. Today we are at peace, and I'm looking forward to my second term, that during these 4 years, we shall indeed see a great strength of our unity and development of our natural resources as never before. The future is great. As we come today to this centennial and look backward, I'm reminded of the fact that there was a time just, about a year and a half ago, at a place called Gettysburg, when I was asked to come in to address a large crowd such as this, to dedicate a cemetery where over 50,000 men on the battlefield had been slain or wounded, and where 8,000 lay buried. As I intended to come to Gettysburg and to say a few words following a long 2-hour oration by Edward Everett, my desire was to remind people of that day, living and able and present, that they should not be content merely to look backward upon the achievements of others, but rather dedicate themselves to a furtherance of those same goals which our founding fathers and those who since that time have found sacred and dear, and have given themselves their time and even their lives to promote. The words I used in that little speech were something like this. I said merely that was 77 years ago that our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation. But it was conceived in liberty and dedicated to a proposition that all men are created equal. And now we're engaged in the great Civil War, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are men, I said, on a battlefield of that war. And we are come to dedicate a portion of that field as the final resting place for those brave men who here struggled and gave their lives that that nation might live. It's altogether fitting and it's proper that we do this. But in the larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. Those brave men living and dead who struggled here have consecrated it far beyond our poor power to add or detract. And so the world will little know, nor long remember what we say here. But it shall never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which those who struggled here have thus far so nobly advanced. It's rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause which they gave that last full measure of devotion, and that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, but that this nation under God might have a new birth of freedom, and that great government of the people, by the people and for the people, might not perish from the earth. As you know, my friends, a centennial has been observed. 100 years has passed, but the future, with all of its glory and all of its achievements, will take place only as we continue in our dedication to those principles, policies, and programs which have brought us to this day today. May God Almighty himself bless and lead us, and we so do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear it once again for Mr. Bruce Hanks. Lincoln Speaks Today. He'll be doing another show today at 4 o'clock up here at the gazebo stage, so you'll want to make sure to catch that at that time. Next up, we have for your entertainment, as you see behind me, the banner says The Last Real Medicine Show. They're from all the way from Georgia, and this is the last traveling medicine show, and I'm going to turn it over to Doc Scott in the show.
Are celebrating our 100th anniversary. Why, you've seen them at the Bluegrass Hall of Fame, Medicine Show in the Country Music Hall of Fame, Cars of the Stars in the Wax Museum in Nashville, Tennessee. You've heard them on record, seen them in the movies, and on national television. And now here they are in person, Doc Tommy Scott's last real all-time medicine show. Show's back in town. Medicine show's back in town. Every girl that can wants to travel in the band. Medicine show's back in town. Mama works on the show.